When you thought this love story couldn't get any sweeter, Jennifer Hudson just flipped the script, and the twist has everyone's jaw on the floor. At first, everything looked picture perfect. Compliments were flying, smiles were endless, and the bond between Jennifer Hudson and Common had fans rooting for them as one of Hollywood's sweetest couples. Common even went out of his way to publicly praise her, calling Jen one of his biggest blessings and saying the two were equally yoked. On the surface, it sounded like genuine love talk, the kind of thing that warms hearts. But then came the cracks. Fans started questioning whether those words were heartfelt or just a polished cover-up for something deeper brewing underneath. The harmony started to feel more like a performance than reality. Jennifer herself reinforced the idea of a strong connection, admitting that late-night calls with her man were her happy place. She sold the image of a love that was both pure and unshakable. Yet now, whispers are turning into headlines, with rumors, receipts, and tensions spilling out in ways no one saw coming. Egos are reportedly clashing behind the scenes, and the drama unfolding could lead to heavy consequences, ones that might change the course of their relationship entirely. And through it all, Jen's responses are being labeled as nothing short of legendary, proving once again that she knows how to control the narrative when the spotlight is on her. What once looked like a romance wrapped in harmony and admiration is now unraveling faster than anyone could imagine. Compliments that once sounded like genuine declarations of love are being replayed by fans who now wonder if they were nothing more than carefully chosen words to keep up appearances. Common had the world believing Jennifer Hudson was his greatest blessing, describing their bond as equally yoked and creating the perfect picture of compatibility. But sometimes, when things look too perfect on the outside, it's because a storm is quietly brewing underneath. Jennifer herself painted that perfect image, sharing how those late-night phone calls with her man were her happy place, a safe corner of joy in her otherwise demanding world. But here's where the cracks start to show, because whispers are now suggesting that the so-called happy place might not have belonged to Common at all. But here's a plot twist nobody saw coming. Word on the street is that Jennifer might have a brand new man in the picture. And if the whispers are true, they're not just whispers. They're coming from the very space she once called her joy. Always introducing names that you can't quite replace. And this next one, he's special. Just like Jennifer, he's from the south side of Chicago. A man who, like her, wears multiple crowns, making music, creating movies, and building a name that commands respect in both worlds. For Common, this was nothing short of a reality check, one that cut far deeper than anyone could have predicted. Because suddenly, that love story the world believed in might not be a love story at all. It might just be a headline dressed up as romance, a performance polished for public view. Or maybe, just maybe, Common hasn't even caught on yet, leaving him in the dark while the whispers grow louder around him. Either way, those whispers have hit like a knockout punch, and the buzz around it has turned the entire scene upside down. Fans are asking questions, insiders are dropping hints, and everyone's wondering how long this facade can hold before the truth finally spills out. What started as admiration and late-night calls has now shifted into something far more complicated, something that has the power to rewrite everything we thought we knew about Jennifer Hudson's love life. Once a receipt surfaced, fans realized this wasn't just another celebrity hiccup. This was about pride, power plays, and a love story turning into an all-out standoff. And let's be real, this energy didn't just appear out of thin air. The cracks were there long before anyone dared to say it out loud. Common and Jennifer Hudson's history runs deep. Both Chicago legends, both with trophy shelves stacked to the ceiling. Their paths kept crossing, charity galas, music festivals, red carpets. Every time, the vibe was undeniable. By 2024, it was no longer a matter of just bumping into each other at high-profile events. They were side by side, co-starring in the sci-fi thriller Breathe. And trust, that wasn't just another Hollywood paycheck. It was a set charged with chemistry so strong it practically demanded attention. By early 2023, the signs were impossible to ignore. Paparazzi cameras caught them everywhere: Philly, Chicago, Malibu. Cozy dinners, late-night hangouts, and casual strolls that didn't feel so casual under flashing lights. The blogs were quick to run with the narrative, but mainstream outlets like TMZ tried to play it safe, stamping the "Just Friends" headline over every sighting. Still, the internet wasn't fooled. People saw the sparks. They read the body language, the little glances, the effortless closeness. The whispers got louder, and fans started piecing the story together on their own. To them, this wasn't friendship, it was romance in plain sight. And while both Common and Jennifer continued to dodge questions with perfectly polished answers, it only made people more suspicious. Because when two stars with that much charisma and shared history keep insisting, "We're just friends," the denial starts to sound like confirmation in disguise. Behind the smiles, though, the tension was building. Common, with his reputation for being smooth yet elusive when it comes to love, found himself in a spotlight he couldn't charm his way out of. And Jennifer, who had always kept her private life guarded, was suddenly the center of a love story being dissected from every angle. Fast forward to July 2024, and the Miami Made It podcast poured gasoline on the whispers and turned them into a full-on firestorm. Around the 20-minute mark, Common gushed about Jennifer like she was the center of his universe. He didn't hold back, calling her one of his greatest blessings, even tying her presence to the most important part of his life. He dropped words like alignment, partnership, and that now famous phrase, equally yoked. On paper, it sounded like the kind of love story people dream about. But fans caught the undertone. To them, it felt less like a man speaking from the heart and more like a subtle, humble flex, as if praising Jen was also a way of boosting his own image. The internet didn't let that slide. Memes popped up, side-eye commentary spread like wildfire, and suddenly Common's words were being dissected line by line. Meanwhile, Jennifer played it smooth, refusing to let the noise shake her. On her end, she kept her eyes locked on the bigger picture. In her words, "I'm very grateful. I thank God each and every day. And I'm just letting God guide this relationship. God is in it, right? God is in it." That faith-filled response gave her the upper hand. It was calm, poised, and impossible to twist against her. Even when interviewers tried to press, she held her ground. On the Jennifer Hudson Show, she laughed off the speculation with grace. At the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival, she slipped in just enough of a hint, referring to Common as "that man of mine." It was casual, almost throwaway, but calculated enough to keep the mystery alive. The balance was clear. Common was talking big in public, leaning into the narrative, while Jennifer was carefully curating her side of the story, making sure she never gave away too much. Her music, her talk show, her work, they always stayed front and center. Any acknowledgement of him was a side note, never the headline. And that difference in approach spoke volumes. Behind the scenes, though, the tension was undeniable. To fans, it was like watching two people playing the same game but on different teams, Common basking in the public glow of their relationship, while Jennifer treated it like something sacred, to be shielded from too much exposure. And when those kinds of energies collide, cracks aren't far behind. Common popped up on her show once or twice, but Jen wasn't about to turn it into a stage for some gushy love fest. There were no long monologues, no fairy tale declarations whispered behind the curtain. She kept it classy, controlled, and very deliberate, almost like she was protecting the narrative before it even had a chance to spin out of her hands. Jennifer wasn't about to let their relationship become free promo for Common's image. She wanted privacy over performance, and that mismatch started stirring real tension. See, for Jen, love was sacred. For Common, love was something he didn't mind packaging neatly for public consumption. And when two people carry love that differently, it's only a matter of time before those energies collide. Remember how I said one night would flip everything upside down? This was it. The night the cracks split wide open. It all went down just after the Grammy buzz died down. Common slid into an exclusive post-awards party at Delilah in LA, the kind of event where the cameras are banned at the door, but the gossip travels faster than Wi-Fi. And as always, industry folks can't hold water if their lives depended on it. Word spread like wildfire. Common was spotted getting extra cozy with a tall, model type in a corner booth. And no, it wasn't Jennifer Hudson. He wasn't even trying to play it safe. No ducked heads, no polite distance. He was leaned in, laughing in her ear, looking way too comfortable for it to pass as friendly. Here's the kicker, Jennifer didn't hear it from him. She found out like the rest of US did, through whispers, texts, and messy headlines. For someone as guarded as Jennifer, someone who'd already lived through the storm of a public split with David Otunga, this wasn't just a sting. This was public humiliation. And in Hollywood, humiliation cuts deeper because it doesn't just bruise feelings, it bruises business. Jennifer isn't just any celebrity. She's an EGOT. She's a talk show host. She's a face brands pour millions into. Having her name suddenly tied to gossip about her man cozying up to models? That's a direct hit to the empire she built. Behind the scenes, the shift was immediate. Jennifer had already iced him out. Phone calls unanswered, invitations declined, walls going up. And when Jennifer Hudson puts up walls, history shows they don't come back down easy. On the surface, Jennifer threw subtle shade, little moments, small comments, calculated smiles that had half the industry whispering. But then she leveled up. This time it wasn't words. It was moves. Strategic, calculated moves that shifted the narrative in her favor without her ever needing to directly address the storm. Now let's be real. Nobody ever dropped rock-solid proof. But in this industry, everyone knows how the playback runs. Common never came out swinging with a hard denial. There was no "that never happened," no fiery defense. Instead, both camps got busy behind the curtain. Jennifer's team allegedly pushed one clean, consistent line. She was laser-focused on her work and her family. No personal drama, no messy explanations. Just discipline, privacy, and grace. Meanwhile, Common's side floated the soft angle. We're still good friends. Don't believe the blogs. But from a PR perspective, Jennifer's approach screamed power. Silent dominance. No mudslinging. No desperation. Just the kind of calm that forces fans to connect the dots themselves. And when fans connect dots without your words, that's when the story sticks. Common's defense, on the other hand, felt weak, dismissive, and it made him look like the one scrambling to save face. Here's the wild part. No one actually knows if they ever officially broke up. No statement. No, we're done. Nothing. That vacuum turned every little thing into a clue. Every sighting, every IG post, every offhand interview comment. Fans dissected it like detectives with a magnifying glass. And just when it seemed like the storm was finally cooling off, a blind item dropped and reignited the entire fire. The claim? That Common's new boo wasn't just a random fling. She was tied to someone from Jennifer's own inner circle. If that's true, this wasn't just messy. This was betrayal on an entirely different level. Since that blind item hit, Common has gone completely ghost. No socials, no press runs, no red carpets. Silence. And in Hollywood, silence speaks louder than any statement. Silence means something hit a nerve. Meanwhile, whispers say Jennifer went into full chess mode. Allegedly, she cut ties with certain friends overnight, switched up her circle so fast that Hollywood couldn't even keep up. The move only fueled speculation that the betrayal cut closer than anyone imagined. And every single public appearance Jennifer made afterward, she radiated unbothered energy. Fierce fits, glowing harder than ever, and subtle shades slipped into her show, just enough to have fans rewinding clips to decode every smile, every side eye, every knowing laugh. It wasn't just shade. It was art. While Jen was thriving, Common was missing. That silence grew deafening, making people believe the rumors had cut way too close to home. And the craziest part? Brands and sponsors didn't hesitate. They allegedly doubled down on Jennifer. She came off as the untouchable power force, while Common looked like the one ducking the spotlight. In Hollywood, image isn't just important, it is everything. If the betrayal angle sticks, then this isn't about romance anymore. It's about loyalty, reputation, and who wins the perception game. For a man known for his smoothness on camera, Common's sudden ghosting felt suspicious. PR insiders even whispered that brands tied to him were quietly watching, calculating their next moves. Because here's the truth, getting caught in a messy love triangle is one thing. But when the person you're up against runs a daytime show, controls network airtime, and has Oprah in her contacts, that's a battlefield you can't walk into unprepared. Right now, their relationship status is murky at best. No confirmations, no denials. But in the court of public opinion, sides have already been picked. Jennifer is being crowned as the wronged queen, classy, calculated, moving like a strategist. Common, meanwhile, is getting cast as the guy who let history repeat itself. Some fans are even clowning him, saying, Common is just being Common. And that leaves us with the million-dollar question. Did he really just fumble the most high-profile relationship of his career? Or is there more to the story? Maybe even someone inside Jen's own camp stirring the pot for drama? Because let's be real. In this era, a single rumor can turn into a wildfire if the internet grabs it. Maybe it's truth. Maybe it's smoke. Either way, this saga is far from over. The next move, whether it's a red carpet sighting, a shady IG caption, or even a surprise duet, will tell us everything about where they stand.